is Small Biz on a Monday here in sweltering Providence, Rhode Island. With me is Paula Charleson. She is the guru behind COCOFUEL.
Hi, how are you?
I'm
Thank
good.
you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I really
great to see you. Talk a little bit about cool product, cool design, cool everything.
So thank you. I appreciate that. My product is a healthy chocolate.
Yeah.
So I decided about 5 years ago I'm a chocoholic, but I can't eat chocolate every day. So I decided to create a healthy recipe for me, my family, and my friends. So that's basically how it started. But everybody said you should sell it. This is a great product. So here I am 5 years later, and yeah, it's been a bit of a whirlwind.
And you've got nice distribution. You're in Whole Foods around
Yes.
New England and
Yes.
in Chicago.
No, well, there's a couple of stores in Chicago,
Yeah, great.
but my first store was Whole Foods in Cranston,
Great.
and they were extremely receptive to the product, and I figured that was my clientele, that was my target market, so I decided, let me bring it to them. If they like it, then maybe I have something here. So they loved it, and I've been in Whole Foods for about 5 years now, and it has expanded into the territory, so I'm excited about that.
And what's been the biggest challenges in building the company?
So,
Besides, with any small business, everything.
yeah, well, chocolate's a little bit unique. So when I first started, I was making it by hand for a couple of years. But as you can imagine, I could only do small batch. I could only do a little bit at a time. And you're not really going to get very far by doing a few hundred bars. So after testing the market for a good year and a half, I would do a lot of demos at Whole Foods. And again, after testing the market, I decided it was time to start looking at co-packers and another way to get this done on a bigger scale. So I'm actually very lucky. My co-packer is Hauser's Chocolate in Westerly.
Great.
It's very difficult to find a co-packer that does bars.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky to be working with Rudy Hauser. The biggest challenge there, when you talk about challenge, was the transition. So the making of the chocolate was not a problem. The big issue was the machines. Because this is a healthy chocolate. It's sweetened with honey. It has a lot of cocoa butter, which makes it a very moist product. So the machines didn't like the product. It took us the better part of about a year and a half for them to retool the machines for the chocolate to sort of get, come through without being stuck. So that was the biggest challenge. And so, so it created sales setbacks and everything else. But we've kind of made it through there, and so now we're basically focusing on sales again.
Great.
We just did the Rhode Island Good Food Mercantile, which was wonderful. It was a venture with Rhody Relish.
Yeah.
And so a couple of nice stores in New York, Zabar's, a couple of other stores, and some that we're in negotiations with. So we're looking forward to expanding quite a bit in New York at this point.
Do you see your product as more of a grocery store product or a specialty shop, kind of cheese wine kind of venue? Or?
It's interesting because COCOFUEL has been in grocery stores, wine and cheese.
Yeah.
It's in Olive del Mundo on the east side.
Yeah.
It's in Cafe La France in Providence as a grab and go.
Yeah.
He's at the Pantry, Nick Raybar's place.
Yeah.
It's been in yoga studios, gyms. My buyer at Whole Foods keeps saying that I need to go to this gym because everybody there keeps buying it. So it's just the good thing about this bar, it very easily can be in a lot of different places.
That's right.
And the reason why I started the company was because, again, I was eating a lot of chocolate, and I was able to get this recipe so that the chocolate only has 6 grams of sugar, from most of it from honey in the entire bar.
That's great.
So the purpose of the bar is to get people off of junk chocolate and candy, and let them enjoy that little piece of chocolate at night without setting off a sugar addiction.
Are you selling any online yet?
I've been selling online since the beginning.
Yeah, and how's that going?
Great. I have some loyal customers from Dallas to LA to New York to Atlanta.
It is amazing how
Bristol.
people get so. I did in my previous life branding with Annie's Macaroni and Cheese, and they discontinued a pizza brand. And a woman called up and said, I don't know how old her son was, he was like 4 or 5 years old, and said, you have to send me any remaining quesos because he eats nothing but Annie's pizza
Right,
brand
yeah,
macaroni
yeah,
and cheese
yeah.
for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how's that working out?
Yeah,
But,
no, I have my addicts.
yeah.
I have my, this is all they want to eat. And,
That's great.
some of them order every single month and they're ordering, 48 or 60 bars a month, and it works out.
Where's it headquartered?
Cranston.
Yeah. And where do you see it, where do you see it in the near future and the long term?
So the goal is to get to the Fancy Food Show
Yeah.
and the East-West Expo. I'd like to expand out west. I think it's a perfect product for the West Coast.
Yeah.
It's done really well in New England and the East Coast, but I do feel like it's also a good fit for the West Coast. So I'm looking forward to doing the Fancy Food Show, possibly San Francisco this year, or if not, then I'll do New York
Right.
next year. So that's the big thing. Getting to the big food shows, the important food shows, is what's going to help launch my product.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I had not heard of it. And I always say, when I haven't heard of something, because, we've done 100,000 articles over the last 8 years, not a lot of things we haven't heard about. How do we tell more Rhode Islanders?
So, again, that also becomes the challenge.
Yeah.
How do you, being at farmers markets is
Yeah.
a great way to showcase a product. The issue with COCOFUEL, it melts.
Yeah, right.
So you really can't have chocolate in the summertime outside. So that becomes an issue.
The Quonset Air Show is not a great
Yeah,
venue for it.
yeah,
Folk
and
Festival,
believe-
not a great one.
And I tried.
Yeah,
I tried in the
I'm sure.
beginning, and I said, and I put it on ice. I did everything, and it just didn't work. So,
We'll focus on the winter outdoor
yeah,
events.
yeah. So,
How is it working with commerce? What's been the environment in Rhode Island? The good, the bad, the ugly. What's been the challenges?
the good news is I have incredible customer support
Yeah.
in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
The customers are loyal in the whole east coast of Whole Foods, and it's from West Hartford to Portland.
Yeah,
Number one store is Cranston. And so the support locally has been incredible. Working with Commerce RI was really a good thing. I worked with Buck Harris from the CIC, and he was
Yeah.
sort of my advocate and helped me with everything that I needed to do. So, and it was a pretty simple, once you have your financials together, it's a pretty simple, smooth process.
Great.
So they were wonderful to work with. I'm looking forward to working more with Rhody Relish,
Yeah.
which is a new concept. And I for us food people, distribution becomes an issue. Getting the word
Yeah.
out becomes an issue. How do we bring all of that together? And I think that's what Rhody Relish is trying to do,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. But yeah, so like we say, a lot of Rhode Island organizations work in silos. Like maybe
Yeah, yeah.
maybe if we all talk to each
Yeah,
other,
no, absolutely.
we can make some other things happen.
Well, that's great. Biggest challenge right now?
The biggest challenge is always sales.
Yeah.
I just want more sales.
Right.
I can do as much production as needed.
Yeah.
And then at that point, I'm always talking to distributors.
Mm-hmm.
I self-distribute, but I'm always talking to distributors. And, when I talk to other people in the food business, they said, you have a nice, easy product to ship.
Yeah.
So you're probably better off just continuing to do what you've got to do until, it expands into other markets.
Great.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you
This
so
is
much.
Super exciting.
Thank you.
Great product, great looking product, really nice. Who did the packaging? Nice.
I did.
Very, very
yeah.
clean,
When
smart.
you're a small business owner, you've got to do the marketing material. You've got to do, I had to come up with a concept. I didn't like what other people were doing.
Right.
I sort of had a vision, and I studied what's the packaging, what's selling with chocolate, and I came up with this in a weekend, and people seem to like it. So.
Yeah, it's great. It's
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. Wraps up today on Small Biz. We'll be back at 4 with Gary Sass, the money man, and appreciate everybody for tuning in. Where's the closest place you can get it? Whole Foods?
Whole Foods
All
on
three?
North Main Street, Waterman, Cafe La France, Sydney. There's a lot of places right here
Great.
locally. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
I have not seen it, but we're going to get the word out now.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back at 4 o'clock with Gary Sass.
Thank you.
Thank you.